The people who are gathering tonight are here because they're concerned about the motion that went through City Council a week ago. While the council indicated its support for eliminating homelessness and providing supports for the homeless, it also included in that motion some things that are very harmful and hurtful in our community. One is restricting anyone from handing out food, water, tents, tarps to anyone on public land. And of course that becomes a way in which you target and isolate people who are in need of that help, as opposed to building community to support them. So that's one of the concerns that's being expressed here tonight is we live in a community and homeless people are our neighbors. And so to isolate them and restrict them from getting what they need to live is not the kind of community I want to be part of.
So what are your expectations in terms of, because as you said, the motion was called as, addressing chronic homelessness, and there is about maybe $800,000 council allocated.
Council's talking about, like as a lump sum, it sounds like a lot, but when you're talking about addressing the need for shelter for people, etc., it's not a lot. So council needs to be part of a bigger plan. So I don't think we should get focused on that $800,000, even though it seems like a big amount of money, but rather how is council building the capacity of the whole community to participate in providing supports for people. And again, isolating people isn't the answer. If we're concerned about homelessness, then we don't target the homeless as the problem. We talk about the need for more housing and how to build that community for everyone.
And one point came up during that meeting was many of the homeless people, they are not from Barrie. And maybe arrange transportation for them, to unite with the families. So, what do you think about, having that distinction between who is from Barrie and who is not, and how to help people?
Well, I'm not from Barrie either.
Neither.
I moved here 10 years ago and I found a home. We have homeless people in every community, so the idea that somehow we have to push them out of Barrie and push them somewhere else, that means every community says we don't want homeless people. How, again, is that being neighbor and building a whole community? Yes, there's challenges when we have homeless people in our community, but every community has that challenge. And I don't think we solve it on the backs of the homeless. We solve it by looking at the systemic issues that are pushing people into dire poverty so that they cannot afford housing. If they're unemployed or partially employed but still can't pay their expenses, those are the issues we need to address. Not targeting some homeless person and just saying we don't want you here, as if that would solve the problem.
Yeah, so that was going to be the next question in terms of what are the actions you hope to achieve this through this protest that the council did?
Well, the council, of course, can't do it all alone, and I think the community is more than happy to support council in lobbying federal and provincial levels of government to be part of the solution, because affordable housing is it costs money to provide homes for people, but we can be creative. There's a lot of communities that are doing some very creative things, and some of those creative things are happening here in Barrie too, but we need to do more of that and less finger pointing at people who are homeless.
During the same meeting, May 17 meeting, a lot of, as you said, the motion was titled, addressing chronic homelessness, but a lot of points were about, how homelessness people are trying to lure young women, and a lot of people, a lot of negative characterization of the homeless people came out. So
there was a lot of stereotyping of people who were homeless, and a lot of it was fallacious, and it was fear mongering when instead there should be an effort to look at the true facts and not to make assumptions that if anything that goes wrong in the community, it's the fault of a homeless person. My congregation is part of working with homeless people, providing food to homeless people, and we have good relationships with people who are homeless, and we are not afraid of homeless people. Yes, there are people who have challenges, absolutely. But to stigmatize all homeless people as
And as you know,
bad,
today
as
is a
dangerous,
powerful protest.
it's simply an odious thing to do.